Welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're going beyond the headlines, exploring the social and economic impacts of recent policies in Nigeria.
Okay.
So we'll be looking at both the big picture, the macro level, and the individual experiences,
Yeah.
the micro level,
Yeah.
to try to understand how these policies are shaping the lives of everyday Nigerians.
It's interesting. It's like we're looking through a magnifying glass at the intricate tapestry of Nigeria's socioeconomic landscape. We're going to see how policy decisions ripple outwards, affecting individuals' businesses and the overall trajectory of the nation.
And to really grasp the complexity of what's happening, we have three fascinating stories to unpack. A Christmas tragedy in Ibadan sparking debates about government responsibility and accountability. Then there are concerns about potential sabotage at the Dangote plant, a major crude oil plant with massive implications for Nigeria's economy. And then finally, we'll explore a wave of skill development initiatives across the country.
Right.
Is this a sign of positive change or just a fleeting trend?
Well, these stories may seem unconnected at first glance, but they're all threads woven into the larger narrative of Nigeria's current state and its potential future.
Hmm. Let's start with that heartbreaking event in Ibadan. A children's Christmas event ended in a tragic stampede, and there's been a lot of public criticism directed at Governor Say Makende's response.
Yeah, it's a stark reminder of the human cost of policy decisions, or in this case, the perceived lack thereof. Dr. George Ogunjimi's public criticism of the governor's handling of the situation isn't just about this one incident.
Right.
It speaks to a broader concern about the government's ability to ensure public safety and respond effectively to crises.
It makes you think, does this incident expose a pattern of inadequate crisis response? Could this have implications for future policy decisions, especially regarding public safety?
Absolutely, such events can erode public trust and create a sense of vulnerability. It will be interesting to see if this tragedy prompts any policy changes or a reassessment of safety protocols for public events.
Yeah, speaking of vulnerabilities, the Dango plant situation raises a whole other set of concerns. This massive crude oil plant is poised to be an economic game changer for Nigeria, but there are disturbing reports about potential sabotage.
Yeah, this is where the stakes get incredibly high. The article we have highlights the potential for disruption to the plant's operations, possibly by targeting its raw materials. If successful, this could send shockwaves through Nigeria's economy.
Just imagine the ripple effect. Fuel shortages would be almost immediate better. Prices would skyrocket, impacting transportation businesses and ultimately hitting everyday Nigerians in their wallets. It's a stark reminder of how vulnerable a nation's economy can be, especially when it comes to essential resources like fuel.
Right, and it raises some uncomfortable questions. Who would benefit from such a disruption? What are their motives? Is this about economic sabotage or perhaps a desperate attempt to gain leverage? Understanding the motivations behind this threat is crucial for crafting effective policy responses.
It's a chilling thought, considering how much hope is pinned on the success of this plant. It was supposed to be a symbol of economic progress, and now it's become a potential target.
Exactly. The Dangote plant was envisioned as a catalyst for economic growth, a way to reduce dependence on foreign imports and create jobs. Any attempt to sabotage it is a direct attack on Nigeria's economic aspirations.
So far, we've discussed events that paint a rather bleak picture, highlighting vulnerabilities in both governance and economic infrastructure. But there's another trend emerging that offers a glimmer of hope, a surge in skill development initiatives across Nigeria.
It's an intriguing development. From Senator Idiot Adebule's program to train 1,000 youths in Lagos West, to the Oyo State government's plan to employ thousands of teachers and non-teaching staff, there's a noticeable push towards investing in human capital.
It makes you wonder, is this a coordinated effort, a deliberate response to the economic anxieties we just discussed? Or is simply a coincidence, a series of unconnected initiatives?
It's hard to say for certain without delving deeper into the motivations behind each program. But what's clear is that skill development is a crucial piece of the economic puzzle. A skilled workforce is essential for attracting investment, boosting productivity, and ultimately driving economic growth.
And perhaps this is a way to address the anxiety surrounding the potential vulnerability of key industries like the oil sector. By diversifying the economy and investing in human capital, perhaps Nigeria can create a more resilient and sustainable future.
It's certainly a strategy worth exploring, but the question remains, are these programs effectively designed? Are they addressing the specific skills gaps that exist in the Nigerian economy? That's what we'll delve into next time as we continue our deep dive.
So we just explored how potential disruptions to critical infrastructure like the Dango plant could ripple through Nigeria's economy. It's a stark reminder of the need for economic diversification and building resilience. And that brings us back to those skill development initiatives we were discussing. They seem even more crucial now, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely, and it's not just about mitigating risk, it's about unlocking potential. Nigeria has a young and rapidly growing population. Equipping them with the right skills could transform the economic landscape, making it more dynamic, innovative, and ultimately less reliant on single sectors like oil.
But are these programs really up to the task?
Hmm.
I mean, creating a truly skilled workforce is a massive undertaking. It's not just about offering training. It's about understanding the specific needs of the economy, providing quality instruction, and ensuring that graduates are actually employable.
You've hit the nail on the head. The effectiveness of these initiatives depends on several key factors. Firstly, the training needs to be aligned with market demand. We need to ask, what are the specific skills that Nigerian businesses are looking for both now and in the future? Are these programs targeting those areas?
That's a great question. What are some examples of in-demand skills in Nigeria that these programs might need to prioritize? And how do they differ from traditional trades?
Well, it's a dynamic landscape. While traditional trades remain important, there's a growing demand for skills related to the digital economy. Think software development, data analytics, digital marketing, even things like e-commerce and online retail. The world is rapidly changing, and Nigeria needs a workforce that can adapt and thrive in this new environment.
So it's not just about filling existing gaps, it's about anticipating future needs, preparing young Nigerians for jobs that may not even exist yet.
Precisely, and that requires a forward-thinking approach to skill development. These programs can't just teach what's relevant today. They need to cultivate adaptability, problem-solving skills, and a mindset geared towards lifelong learning.
I'm curious, how are these programs ensuring inclusivity? Are they reaching marginalized communities, women, people with disabilities, or is there a risk of exacerbating existing inequalities?
Inclusivity is crucial for maximizing the impact of these initiatives. It's not just about social justice, it's about economic efficiency. Tapping into the full potential of the workforce requires providing opportunities to everyone, regardless of their background or circumstances.
You mentioned specific initiatives earlier. Are there any that stand out in terms of addressing these inclusivity concerns?
There are some promising examples. Some programs are specifically targeting women in STEM fields, providing them with the training and support needed to break into traditionally male-dominated sectors. Others are focusing on rural communities, bringing digital literacy and entrepreneurial skills to areas that have often been left behind.
That's encouraging to hear. But even with the best programs and the most inclusive approach, we can't ignore the broader economic context. Unemployment is a major challenge in Nigeria. Are there enough jobs to absorb this newly skilled workforce?
It's a valid concern. Skill development alone isn't enough. We need a parallel effort to stimulate economic growth, create a business-friendly environment, and attract investments that create jobs.
It sounds like a complex equation with many variables. We need effective skill development programs, targeted investments, and supportive government policies. It's like trying to orchestrate a symphony where all the instruments need to be in harmony.
That's a great analogy, and just like a symphony, the success of this endeavor depends on the conductor. The government plays a crucial role in setting the stage, creating the right conditions for skill development to flourish and translate into economic growth.
And speaking of the government's role, let's circle back to the Dango plan. We talked earlier about the potential for sabotage and the economic fallout that could result. How might these skill development programs impact a project of that scale?
It's an interesting connection because a project of that magnitude requires a massive and diverse workforce, from engineers and technicians to project managers, logistics specialists, and even environmental experts.
So the success of the Dango plant could actually be dependent on the success of these skill development programs. They might be even more interconnected than we initially realized.
Precisely. If Nigeria can produce a skilled workforce capable of operating and maintaining such a complex facility, it would not only boost the project's chances of success, but also demonstrate the country's growing capabilities on the global stage.
It seems that everything we've discussed today, we're on political accountability, economic anxieties, and the push for skill development, they're all intricately linked. It's not just about individual policies, it's about a holistic vision for Nigeria's future.
It's about understanding the interconnectedness of these issues, recognizing that solutions need to address both the macro and the micro levels, and perhaps we're witnessing the early stages of a transformative shift in Nigeria's development trajectory.
It's certainly a story worth following closely. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's take a step back and consider the challenges that still lie ahead. What are the potential roadblocks that could hinder the progress we've been discussing? And what can be done to overcome them? That's where we'll pick up in the final part of our deep dive. So we've spent this deep dive exploring a range of issues facing Nigeria, from tragic events that expose vulnerabilities in governance to ambitious projects like the Dangote Plan that hold both promise and risk. And we've seen how skill development initiatives could play a key role in shaping a more resilient and prosperous future. But as with any complex journey, there are bound to be challenges along the way.
Exactly. And acknowledging those challenges is crucial for developing effective solutions. One of the biggest hurdles is ensuring that these skill development programs translate into tangible economic benefits. We can't just assume that training people will automatically lead to jobs and economic growth.
So what are some of the potential roadblocks that could prevent these programs from achieving their full potential? What could derail this seemingly positive trend?
Well, one concern is the issue of quality control. Are these programs producing graduates who are truly equipped with the skills that employers need? Is there a robust system for monitoring and evaluating the effectiveness of the training? Without rigorous standards and accountability mechanisms, these initiatives could end up being more about optics than impact.
It's like building a bridge without ensuring the structural integrity. You might have a beautiful design, but if it can't handle the weight, it's all for nothing.
Precisely. And beyond the quality of the training itself, there's the issue of access and affordability. Are these programs reaching those who need them most, including those in rural areas, women, and marginalized communities? Are the costs prohibitive for some, creating barriers to participation?
So even if the programs are well designed, they might not be reaching their full potential audience, or the benefits might not be equitably distributed. That could actually widen existing inequalities rather than bridge them.
Exactly. And that brings us to another crucial point, the need for collaboration. These skill development initiatives can't operate in isolation. They need to be part of a larger ecosystem that involves the government, the private sector, educational institutions, and even civil society.
So it's about creating partnerships, aligning incentives, and ensuring that everyone is pulling in the same direction.
Yeah.
It's about connecting the dots between training, job creation, and economic growth.
And that requires a long-term vision, a commitment to sustainable development that goes beyond short-term political cycles. It's about investing in the future of Nigeria, not just for the next election, but for generations to come.
It's a daunting task, but also an incredibly inspiring one. It makes me think, what can we learn from Nigeria's experience? What lessons can other countries facing similar challenges draw from their efforts?
I think one of the key takeaways is the importance of a multifaceted approach. There's no single solution to complex problems like poverty, unemployment, and inequality. It requires a combination of targeted investments, effective policies, and a commitment to empowering individuals through education and skill development.
And it's about recognizing the power of human potential. Despite the challenges, there is a remarkable resilience and entrepreneurial spirit in Nigeria. If given the right opportunities and support, Nigerians can drive their own progress and create a brighter future.
Absolutely. And that's what gives me hope. This deep dive has revealed both the complexities and the possibilities. It's a story that's still unfolding, but one that has the potential for a positive outcome.
And as we wrap up our exploration, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought. This isn't just a story about Nigeria, it's a story about the power of human ingenuity, the importance of investing in people, and the enduring belief in a better tomorrow. Keep learning, stay engaged, and never underestimate the capacity for positive change. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.